Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome back to the breakfast show with, whoops, the switcheroo here, voila, with myself. And finally, we've got the Florida man back with us. Jose, how was it? And how
Pretty
are you?
good. Pretty good. I feel a little refreshed, a little sick now, but I'm back. I saw you held it down by yourself. You probably did a better job than with me in here, anyways. But I'm happy to be back. I saw the market was a little bit crazy too while I've been gone. So let's see if we can talk a little bit about some AI and stock stuff.
Yeah, I'll pull up the heat map of Friday in case you missed what the heck was going on. This was basically Friday. Not the best picture, I would say. Not the best picture unless you're, of course, Broadcom and Oracle.
Yeah.
Those two
Interesting.
names, yeah, were quite good. I don't know if you had time to look at Broadcom.
Yeah. So I already did a video on my channel, but I mean, Broadcom earnings were definitely pretty strong for the stock to react the way it did. Um, I don't know if maybe the reaction on kind of what some like say competitors are is an overreact. I think that might be an overreaction. We saw AMD down about 7%. I do believe the market is a little bit fearful that second place means maybe more threat for AMD right now than for Nvidia. But even today, right before we went live, Neil, I was just looking at analysts just kind of downgraded Nvidia due to the threat of Broadcom. So it's such a weird time where I do believe this market is growing, where even if it seems like you're gaining market share, you could just be growing in revenue with the same amount of market share. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad for your competitors. So yeah, but earnings were pretty great for Broadcom.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think also the information they told us for 2026 and the probably potential. I would say it's probably OpenAI, right? The fourth huge client that they teased us with. It's probably OpenAI because we also then got the report saying that OpenAI will come out with their own chips working with Broadcom, etc., etc. So I guess when you put the puzzle pieces
Yeah.
together,
There was another little kind of thing that maybe some investors would have noticed during the earnings call, Neil. There was like kind of like he meant to say like Open Ethernet Consortium or something, and he mentioned Open AI instead, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, I meant to say." So he did have a little slip up. He seemed to have Open AI in his mind during the earnings call. Yeah, pretty interesting there to see that little mistake happening.
is it a little mistake or was it on purpose?
On purpose, that's true.
Yeah, Chris here. Good morning, Chris. Yes, we are doing quite well with United Healthcare for now. For now, especially if the subsidies do get extended, that would be quite something, quite the tailwind for sure. But yeah, we do have Oracle this week. We also have Adobe, but that's on, I think, on Thursday. What do you think Oracle should be doing? I'll pull up the charts because Oracle, we know, I mean, we've talked about Oracle over a year and a half ago when it was still under the radar. What do you think Oracle will have to do in order for the stock not to plummet? Because as you can see, it has been doing extremely well, right? And especially since April, stock basically doubled. what? Because I'm pretty sure the numbers won't be bad. The question is, even if those are good numbers, how good do they have to be in order for Oracle to stay up there? Because Broadcom was also already super, super stretched in
Yeah.
my opinion, but it still managed to go even higher, probably because the comments on 2026 were so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the story, right? I mean, we've already at least one thing for Oracle that I am liking is it did hit around 260 plus and has kind of pulled down to like the 230. So it seems like a little bit of the excitement has left the building, which I tend to like before earnings. So if it stays around these 230s levels, a good portion of excitement has left. I think you hit it on the nail there, though, Neil, where you need to provide some strong numbers for 2026. And historically, Oracle does do that. They kind of tell us that they give us a strong RPO. They kind of give us that they're going to increase capacity within the upcoming months. We need to hear more about them, maybe more in line of customer potentials. We also heard that not recent anymore, but at the beginning of this quarter, we did hear that multi-billion-dollar revenue growth potential for Oracle with that one customer that can, I forget how it was. I forget if it was 20 billion a year starting fiscal year of 2027 or 2028. If we get a little bit more about that, or I think most investors most likely forgot about that customer already, even though it's most likely OpenAI. So if we hear more about that, if we hear more about the Stargate initiative, because I still believe they still haven't provided Stargate RPO into their overall RPO. So a little bit more about Stargate, a little bit more about that big customer for fiscal year 2027 or 2028. I forget the actual year from the top of my mind, but that gives us that long-term opportunity to see what's next for Oracle. So if they can give us a lot more color on that, I do believe investors could be excited. If they don't give us any colors on that, I think investors will probably have a bit of a sell-off on it.
Yeah, I think it was 28. I think it was 28. Question here, or maybe I'll pull it up. Question here, is it calendar 28 or fiscal 28? But yeah, I mean, the
So, all right, so it's
backlog.
fiscal year 28. So that's calendar 27.
Okay. Okay. That clarifies it. I'll pull up the backlog right now for them because that has been insane. So right now, backlog for Oracle is at $137.8 billion, and that did increase 40% year over year. And this is a company that is generating or generated $57.3 billion a quarter with a backlog of $137.8 billion, growing 40%. That's insane. That's insane. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what could go wrong. Like, I don't see anything that could go wrong other than what you said. Maybe if they don't provide us with enough information, or maybe if there are some delays here and there, maybe with the build outs, that could affect the stock. But then again, might just be a short-lived
Yeah.
dip.
One thing that I have noticed, Neil, from these data center companies and kind of like the cloud server providers like Nebius and CoreWeave, is a lot of them, especially Nebius and CoreWeave, have mentioned that a lot of their build outs are going to happen in quarter 4 of this year. So the only other thing is, I wonder if maybe investors might be expecting a lot of growth in some of the cloud space here, and Oracle might see that similar step where a lot of their growth might happen post quarter 4, as it seems a lot of them are waiting for that GB 300 opposed to maybe like the GB 200.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, again, we've talked about that before as well, right? When we talk about all of these investments and these build outs, they take time. That's the thing. Like, we can have those huge announcements, but all of it does take time, sometimes a year as well. This is what I wanted to find here. So remaining performance obligations are likely to grow more than 100% in fiscal
Yeah.
26, supported by capex investment exceeding $25 billion to meet demand. So, I mean, the numbers that we're talking about here are insane. And you've probably talked about this. I've talked about it. I made a video about that Friday, talking about, oh, the AI bubble is about to pop. We're near the peak, etc., etc. But I just don't see how that is possible. I just don't see how we can be near a peak. First of all, because we're only 2.5 years in since ChatGPT came out. Second of all, if you look at the CapEx investments that all of these companies are making, like we were saying, this is hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. It's not like tomorrow, okay, we're done, CapEx story is over. These are things that you stretch out over the next couple of years. So I think we're still far, far away from reaching a peak. And I mean, these numbers are incredible.
Yeah, pretty non-technical point that I saw. I was at a barbecue with a few friends about a weekend, I think a weekend or 2 weekends ago, Neil. And these are friends that aren't really kind of like big into the AI market. I mean, your typical consumer base, right?
Yeah.
And they were just talking about how they're now looking into subscribing into one of these AI applications. I didn't ask which one they were using, but they feel like they're getting enough kind of value that they want to subscribe. And these are, again, I think AI is still very early innings, that only people that are really into the space right now are kind of in the know about it. So it was pretty interesting to seeing a lot of my friends. Yeah, I mean, they were saying, hey, I want to subscribe. I keep getting the rate limits. I'm finding it very useful. So it seems like if we're still not in the phase where everybody's using it, I don't think we're in the bubble just yet. And like you mentioned, capital expenditure continues to grow. All these companies in the cloud space have mentioned that they're being safe with how they build. They're only building if they have the demand. I mean, we just saw it here from Oracle, $140 billion of RPO. They need that AI infrastructure to build that out. Microsoft has talked about it. I think they have 300 and something billion dollars in RPO. The Google Cloud also mentioned some crazy number. AWS, I forget the actual number. Maybe we can do a video later on throughout this week, kind of showcasing the RPO these companies have, but all of them have hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of AI kind of workloads that they need to lay off with infrastructure. So it's money that they have contracted revenue for. So this, I don't see this, at least for certain innings. And you've talked about it in the past, Neil. We've talked about it, that we see a bubble maybe in smaller companies, but in the overall market, it still seems pretty strong.
And we had this come out from the information. So OpenAI has reportedly lifted its projected cash burn to $115 billion through 2029, up $80 billion from earlier forecasts. So the firm expects to burn $8 billion this year, $17 billion 26, $35 billion in 2027, and $45 billion in 2028 as it scales data centers and chips. I would say that what we've just spoken about with Oracle, the $45 billion here is probably that, or a large part of it.
Agree. And Eddie, I agree with that statement, Eddie. I know Eddie's was mentioning Larry Ellison, which is the CEO, not the CEO, pretty much the CEO, the founder and majority shareholder, I believe, of Oracle. He's also, I think, the CTO is his official title. Said they built more cloud infrastructure than all competitors, but their CapEx seems low. Is there something I'm missing? Um, That's true. I don't know, Eddie. I agree. He said something like that. I don't know if he says they build more already or they're planning on building more. They also mentioned that when they start off their data centers, they start off at a smaller footprint and they expand from that. So I wonder if he's just talking about maybe projects opening up, which can in theory be smaller in forms of actual gigawatt power or actual kind of GPUs. So it all depends on how he's trying to determine the more cloud infrastructure. Is it just open doors that are getting set up, or is he comparing it by the actual power size? And I don't think he's mentioned anything there.
Thanks for that. There was before we move on, there was some big moves happening actually pre-markets. AST Space Mobile is down around 15% or so. I'll show that. So we are now at $36. So what caused the drop? What caused the drop? It's SpaceX related. Where is it? Here it is. It's SpaceX related. So SpaceX Starlink agreed to buy wireless spectrum from Charles Ergen's EchoStar for about $17 billion. The deal consists up to $8.5 billion in cash and up to $8.5 billion in SpaceX stock, valued as of the entry into the definitive pact. SpaceX to also fund an aggregate of $2 billion of cash interest payments payable on EchoStar debt through November 2027. I never heard of this company before, but I guess this isn't the best of news for AST SpaceMobile, because this might just accelerate Starlink's growth, SpaceX Starlink's growth. But let's actually check, because EchoStar is also a publicly traded company. I think they're up significantly. Yeah, they're up 23% right now, what I'm seeing pre-market. So they provide networking technologies and services worldwide. The company operates in two segments, Hughes and EchoStar satellite services. So I guess that's, I don't guess, this is why AST is down pre-market at the moment. I do have here a very nice super chat from Charles. Thank you very much for that. Good morning to you as well. Could we hear some of your thoughts on Lululemon? Jose, are you a Lululemon type of person?
No, definitely not. I'm very cheap with how I spend my money on clothes.
What about your wife? Is your wife a Lululemon fan?
No, definitely not either.
Well, a bear case scenario here. We're done. But yeah, Lululemon is, of course, experiencing quite a huge pullback from, the top here, December 2023, it's basically down 67%, which is insane. But from the top here of this year, it's down also 60%.
Wild.
It is wild, especially when you look at the amount of yoga pants running around in the streets. But then again, it's not all Lululemon ads anymore. It's Alo Yoga and all of the others out there. And so Lululemon right now, $19.9 billion. PE-wise, it's cheap. But growth-wise, we are far from the peak. EPS is actually expected to drop compounded for the next 2 years.
So you see that forward PE ratio actually getting a little bit more expensive than the current because of that.
Well, from trailing PE of 11.4 times to 13.7 times. Margin-wise, this is still one of the better ones out there in the athleisure category, but it is losing its magic, I would say, especially in the United States or North America more specifically. I don't think they are growing. So America's revenue increased just 1%, comparable sales down 3%. China is growing quite rapidly. Rest of the world grew 19%. I know it has become a popular name because the stock is down significantly, and I think a couple of other creators out there on social media or on YouTube have been talking about Lululemon a bit more. But right now, again, when you go with a name like Lululemon, you have to be interested in that category, in that industry. I'm just not interested in that category, that industry, even if it looks cheap. There was someone, Guillermo here. If you want to get exposure to clothes or something like that, go with a luxury name like LVMH. Almost did the English pronunciation, which is a no.
No.
Or Hermes, which is even better, but it's never cheap. So Lulu it's like a Nike. It's maybe a turnaround story, although I do think that Nike is much easier of a turnaround story than Lululemon at the moment. So that's it. I wouldn't buy it, even for, I like turnaround stories, but this is one turnaround story where I've literally zero interest in.
Yeah, and you already have plenty of turnaround stories, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Enough. Enough is enough. Now I want the after turnaround stories.
I like Eddie's comment here. None of the influencers talking about Lulu are women. I'll invest when a woman tells me to.
That is a very good point. We did have a Citi note on Nvidia.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about before.
So we can link it with what has happened with AMD last week. So Citi on Nvidia buy rating still, but they lowered their price target to $200 from 210. Okay, not such a big deal. We reduced Nvidia's 2026 GPU sales estimate by 4% to reflect Broadcom's comments about accelerating AI chip growth. We see a $12 billion GPU sales hit to Nvidia from Broadcom XPU deals, which is Nvidia down to the pre-market, or
Let's
is
see.
it a nothing burger for now?
Right now,
Very
it
no.
seems like a nothing burger, but I think we're gonna start to see a little bit more like this stuff, Neil.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I find it interesting, right? I mean, if I want this $12 billion hit to Nvidia from Broadcom XPU deals, how much is coming from kind of like the new deal that they just announced with what many are, like you mentioned, are discussing is OpenAI, because it takes time. If this is OpenAI's chip, it's going to be the first time they build the chip. It's going to be the first time they're going to try to build AI servers. It's going to be the first time they're going to try to play with all these networking solutions and everything like that. That's going to take longer than a year to finalize. What I Even if Broadcom does it, I don't know if they've been able. They've done it with Google, but who was the mastermind of with all that networking solution of all that scalability? Was it Google when they're building the TPUs, or does Broadcom play an important role in there? If Broadcom plays an important role in there, then they do have some strength in this overall supply chain. If it's just mainly Google, then is OpenAI going to be suitable enough to put these infrastructures together? Because it's no longer about the chip, right? You can have a million chips, but if you can't connect them, if you can't run them, if one of your servers is running bad, if you have some massive disconnect somewhere, issues will arise with your training, with your inference. And what's going to happen is you're going to end up picking up the phone and saying, Jensen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you send me a nice amount of orders my way? So I think there's growth opportunity here for Broadcom, Neil. I think we might be getting a little bit excited too early for it. Um, and in 1 year, things changing. I think that's a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I mean, things can change. Doesn't necessarily
Mhm.
mean that suddenly Nvidia will have
Mhm.
here a $12 billion GPU hit next year.
Yeah,
It's a bit
yeah.
extreme, I would
Uh,
say.
And that's assuming it doesn't get picked up from some other demand out there.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, so Nvidia right now, let's see, experiencing a small healthy pullback,
Mhm.
9% or so. AMD is a bit
Mhm.
more than that, especially from last Friday. It's down 18.3%. And this was also a strange one. There was that Seaport analyst guy that came out, didn't really change the price target, just went from buy to neutral. The guy has a 1.5 star rating on tip ranks. I guess this was enough for AMD to come down 6.5%, which I don't know. Did you
Mhm.
see anything else other than maybe also that OpenAI story that came out? But then again, we also know that OpenAI and AMD are working closely
Yeah.
for the MI400
Mhm.
series and MI500. So is this just an overreaction? Maybe just
I,
a healthy pullback?
I think it mainly has to do with that Broadcom thing, Neil. Right? Is it was the analyst that I saw, I forget the actual his name and even the firm, but he mentioned that first, some of the customers that they announced during the AI events were mainly focusing on just buying evaluation systems, and they haven't gone to proceed to buy big bulk orders. And the second thing is exactly what you just mentioned is OpenAI is working with Nvidia, obviously for a lot of their chips. Now they're trying to find a way to maybe reduce that dependency. Is it going to be through Broadcom? Is it going to be through AMD's MI400? It seems like the market believes OpenAI might only choose one, but I think hedging its bets is going to choose both at the beginning, and then throughout the time, it'll eventually finish off with two players. So right now, I think it's hedging its bets. We saw that burning cash. I think it's going to go with both Broadcom and AMD, and then eventually figure out which way he wants to go about it.
Okay, no, fair enough. Fair enough. Um, there was another, quickly touching on BMNR, of course, because that's a very popular name at the moment. Um, I did see, I know, I mean, this thing has become also like a cult like stock in just a matter of a couple of weeks, which of course is due to Tom Lee being the chairman there. Apparently, BitMine is making their first moonshot investment into Octo, a company that will initiate the world's first WorldCoin treasury strategy, whatever that happens, whatever that means. Dan Ives, orange flag here, has been announced as the chairman of the board for the company. The investment will be $20 million. WorldCoin is a cryptocurrency developed by Sam Altman, another orange flag here, because it's like the whole same world. Currently has created nearly 16 million zero-knowledge proof of human accounts in over 45 countries. Tom Lee said here, BitMine wants to support and back innovative projects that create value for the Ethereum network. As an ERC20 native token, World is aligned with Ethereum. World's unique zero-knowledge proof of human credential could be essential to future trust and safety between technology platforms and their billions of human users. I don't know about this. I also saw that Tom Lee has a SPAC in the making, which is again another orange flag here, because when we start seeing SPACs popping up, um, I don't know. This
It
is,
means we got at least 12 months, Neil. At least
yeah,
12 months, probably.
quickly 12 months to retire, and then we're back off to Florida here. But yeah, I don't know what I have to think about this. Right now, it seems like the stock does not really care much. It's not really reacting that much at the moment, pre-market. But that's BMNR for you at the moment. You don't have a position in
Nope,
in it.
not a position. And I
Not
want to
yet.
really, yeah.
Not yet. um, CoreWeave. Where is our lovely CoreWeave? CoreWeave has been an interesting ride more recently.
Yeah.
Of course, from the peak, it's down quite a lot, which makes sense. But do you think they're starting to find a support area after the lockup period expired, after all of the news coming out? Or do you think we can see even more selling pressure around this name? All right, let me unmute
Fresh.
you.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Neil. Amateur hour here. I think you can always see selling pressure. I do like that we are kind of seeing a nice formation being bought here. I don't know if it's just I'm buying every time we get below those 90s.
This
Just
is
kidding. I'm
Jose's
not.
ticks here.
This is yeah. Those are. So I am purchasing Neil CoreWeave. I'm just really excited about the AI infrastructure build out. I mean, I did a video yesterday comparing kind of Nebius with CoreWeave in forms of just the active power and the kind of power that they're expected to build throughout the next year alone. And for me, I'm looking for that pure AI infrastructure player. And that's where CoreWeave is dominating in. Um, I like it. I think there could be more sell-off pressure, obviously, especially if we hear some bad news in the AI market. This would be one that tackles, but this is one I'm buying at these levels and making a good position in my portfolio. And someone else was wondering my thoughts on kind of like CoreWeave and Marvell. Both are companies that I'm really much adding to my portfolio over time. This is the ones that every week I put X amount of money into my portfolio. It's going straight to those. AMD was actually one of the other ones that it went to as well recently. One of my first buys in a very, very long time for AMD.
What do you think about the acquisition that they made last week? The pipe something something.
So it does seem like they're just trying to improve their AI stack solution and kind of have like that AI studio, like something Nebius has. Um, but their core market is still the major AI labs, and those major AI labs are not going to use most of it. And that's why I think customer concentration is going to maintain. CoreWeave is great at building at scale and super fast. And the ones that want that scalability super large are going to be those massive AI labs. I think they're just trying to maybe hedge their bets a little bit by trying to focus a little bit more in enterprises. but I still believe the concentration is going to be with the major AI labs. And I saw a lot of people worry that if this course acquisition doesn't go through, it's bad news for CoreWeave. I don't think that's the case. They're just going to go back and rent out that solution, that PowerShell
Hmm.
from Course. It doesn't really matter much. You're going to see obviously that the efficiency, because Course is going to charge some fine of middleman fee. But I don't think this is a make or break moment for CoreWeave that I saw some reactions to.
It does seem like Chorus has found like
Mhm.
its area of
Mhm.
of where the market wants it to be priced right now,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I wonder
13,
what that,
14 bucks.
let's see, that's what is the price right now, Neil? 13.
13.7.
So divided by, I think it was 0.125 or 1245 or something like that. So, okay. That would give CoreWeave a price of about $110 if it does go through. A little bit less since it is kind of, I think, dilutive on the shares there.
Hmm. We
Um,
do have IREN here.
yeah.
They performed very well. They have quite a lot of events actually happening in the coming days and weeks. I know they are sponsoring at the All In Summit happening right now. We did get their August monthly
Mhm.
update. A lot of people did think that, oh, it was delayed by a couple of days, so that's probably because they've suddenly installed the thousands of GPUs. No, it's just Monday right now. So we got that out of the
Mhm.
way. Still about the same year across the board. Revenue for August is down um, a little bit month over month, but seasonality
Mhm.
thing, nothing really to be worried
Yeah.
about. AI cloud revenue still, we don't still not seeing that huge jump, um, which is normal. But I did say here demand for AI cloud is accelerating as we prepare for the delivery of approximately 9,000 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs over the coming months. At Prince George, retrofits to support this expansion are progressing to schedule, with construction of a new liquid-cooled data center for the NVIDIA GB300 NVLink 72 systems well underway. Following record fiscal year and quarterly earnings, we delivered another month of solid performance, generating $53 million of hardware profit in August, despite, here they say it, seasonal curtailment and electricity prices. They also officially announced the new CFO, although he's been with them, I think, since June
Mhm.
or July.
Mhm.
Um, so all in all, still very bullish on IREN here as well, especially since it's a much smaller company
Mhm.
compared to the Nebius and CoreWeave. But I mean, the amount of power that they have right now and will have in the future, because yes, there
Mhm.
are contracted, connected. It's a difference.
Yeah.
It could
That's
be huge.
that's yeah, that's the thing. For example, Neil, just to put in perspective, CoreWeave believes by the end of this year, they're gonna have 900 megawatts of active power. Um, Nebius at the moment believes they're going to go with about 220
Yep.
megawatts of connected power, but within that connected power, only about 100 or so is going to be active power. So it's about 9 times different. What I don't know about IREN, and this is what I'm going to start to do a little bit more research on, is data center capacity here is also about 810 megawatts. It seems like this is more like what Nebius does with kind of that connected power. And then unfortunately with IREN, the big difference is it does have the mixture between the mining side and the AI side. How much is AI side? How much is mining side? And what is kind of like the AI side going to look like by the end of this year? Because here we can see operating, they have 810, but again, I don't know how much, if they break it down with what's going to be the mining and what's going to be the AI side, or what is the mining, what is the AI side. The other thing is, for me, Iron doesn't look more like a Nebius competitor. It looks or like a Corey competitor just yet. I think what's really exciting about them is more the power shell itself. It looks more like a course than anything else, because I don't know if you looked at the semi analysis. Uh, cloud rating, IREN is pretty low on the list. It's really, really low on that list. So it tells me that they're not that great at AI infrastructure just yet. What they are great at is having the power shells. Now, I am curious if semi-analysis does kind of give us an update pretty soon on that rating and if they go up. Because I think they were bronze. They were one of the last places in forms of AI infrastructure build up. So for me, IREN is looking good as a power shell. It has the opportunity to maybe do good in the AI infrastructure system itself and be more of a competitor to Nebius and CoreWeave, but that one still has to show some strength or show some opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, plus it makes sense because it wasn't really what they were doing for so long. So still quite early.
Exactly.
So yeah, maybe 2 quarters from now, when they will have their thousands of GPUs online, maybe it's going to be a bit different, but that's a wait and see. I do think that in the transcript, maybe we'll look at it for another time. I do think that we can try and figure out exactly what's, because there are retrofitting, right, mining
Mhm.
side, and to turn it into the AI side of things. Um, so I think we can figure out exactly what's going on there. But the thing here is that you need a lot of power, and so even if it's like a core scientific, although I do think it's going to be a mixture of both, the upside is quite quite big. If I mean they've been delivering on time, they've been moving very very quickly. So I mean they think that in the first half of 26 they can have 2.3 gigawatts.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah, so I mean that's a jump
Yeah.
from 885 megawatts for 25 to jump to 2.3 gigawatts in a year. That's going to be a huge jump
Mm.
in revenue as well.
And I like one thing that you mentioned that there's two ways to look at iron, right? It has the power. It might just need to do a little bit better in AI infrastructure tools. But that's something that you can fundamentally get better. You can train your employees, you can train your team. You can't just theoretically pull out power out of nowhere. So they do seem to have kind of like the biggest bottlenecks secured. Now they just need to work with their team, maybe hire the right talent, hire the right engineers to be able to fix the other side. And the other side is fixable. And when kind of semi-analysis did the overall rating, this was really just turning around into that AI infrastructure. It was still really focusing more on Bitcoin. But throughout the few quarters since that has come out, this company has moved a little bit more on building that AI infrastructure. So now I'm actually pretty curious to see that maybe they are going to move up on that ladder and become a little bit more competitive.
Going back real quick to the AST thing. So the big takeaway, according to Ed, I think it's from Bloomberg. Yes, from Bloomberg. The deal allows SpaceX to expand its direct-to-device mobile services more independently beyond the existing T-Mobile partnership, which again explains why AST is down so much pre-market right now. And that has
So was
always
SpaceX
been the
really
risk.
dependent on was it I don't know the space industry, Neil, but from what I've read, was SpaceX like more focused on just a selected amount of customers and now this deal kind of gives them the opportunity to have a bigger TAM? And now, so
It's
since it has a bigger TAM, companies like ASTS are going to see a little bit more competitive pressure within that market. Is that what's happening, or am I misreading this
so
completely?
so with Starlink, they had their partnership with T-Mobile. AST has partnership with a lot of others. I think Verizon, maybe AT&T as well. I think Rakuten. They've got strategic investment from Google here as well. And so with Starlink, of course, there are some difference in specifications in the satellites, um, the speeds of it. Because right now with Starlink, for example, if you have a Starlink, it will need like a clear sky, blah blah blah, in order to work. But with this direct to cell tech, direct to device mobile services more specifically, it's of course using your phone and you have internet everywhere. That's the big game that they're playing in right now, and that's something that AST of course is working on, um, and will probably still be successful in, because again we're talking about a huge total addressable market. But I always said this: look, Starlink has SpaceX, right? In order to get to space, you need rockets. And guess what? SpaceX has the rockets. Of course, AST has partnership with various launchers there as well. Um, but it does help when you already have millions and millions of subscribers, when you're already generating over $12 billion in revenue right now, which is Starlink, to make deals like this, like buy other companies, and suddenly you are still um, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead. That has always been the risk here for me when looking at AST. That doesn't mean that suddenly, oh, bull thesis is done. I think it's just the competitor that we've always known about doing what it should be doing, and that's staying ahead, um, which has always been the reason why I went with Rocket Lab in the first place. It's
Yeah.
because I find it just a better business.
Yeah. Neil, there was a question that I really liked that was asked from your channel, Leo here. What do you think does impact the share price and future prospect? So pretty much, what do you think impacts price movements? If I may go first, I think in the short term is obviously just market momentum, analyst ratings, volatility in news. That creates kind of that short term volatility. I think in the long term, the trend is pretty much fundamentally driven, right? I mean, in the 3 years, you're going to see all this. Any blips that you see with that strong trend line is news that come out, price targets that come out, anything dramatic or random event. But the long term, is definitely the fundamentals. And that's why I think if you're a bear or bull, you have your time to shine either side. I could say something bearish about a stock today, and 2 months later, I can go and say, see, I told you I was right. Same thing. I can say something bullish about a stock today, and 2 months and 1 week from now, I can say, see, I was right, just because of the volatility of the market. But I do think the overall long term is pretty much driven by the fundamentals. Um, your thoughts there, Neil?
No, I agree. I agree. In the short term, you can have a lot of things that move a stock, things that actually don't really necessarily impact the company, but just impact maybe the stock market, macro related stuff. Like you said, analyst notes, upgrade, downgrades. But yeah, over the long term, the value that you will get is probably fundamentally and more specifically earnings growth. Can the company successfully grow its business, its top line, and especially its bottom lines? I
Yeah.
think that's just you can look at every single company. If the stock went up over the long period, look at the earnings, and you will probably see the same line up and to the right. Because at the end of the day, that's it, right? You want to
Mhm.
have earnings per share grow.
Yeah.
That's the game.
I have another question here, Neil, from Robert. Do you think it's possible for OpenAI to switch their whole code from CUDA environment to whatever they want to do with their own AI chips? Um, hmm, so I want to say a lot of there's been a lot of fears right now, right, Neil, with this ASIC market. The only way I ever think the ASIC market will overtake NVIDIA's market share is if AI workloads stop evolving. If you're going to do the same type of workload, and that means you could just build an ASIC to just do that workload over and over and over, because that's the most efficient way. I think what's happening right now, Neo, is two things. There are a lot of places where AI is evolving dramatically. And that's where you're going to continue to use GPUs. You're going to continue to need GPUs that are programmable to be updating into that new AI task. But at the same time, there's also a certain amount of AI workloads that are not seeing much changes in how they get calculated or the backend behind it. For those workloads, there's no reason to be running on a GPU. So what I believe a lot of these companies, especially right now, are going to say, we need our GPUs to handle the hardest task available. I don't want my GPUs running something very simple. I'm going to make ASIC. All those simple tasks, I'm going to run on these ASIC solutions. All these tasks that are evolving, I'm going to continue to run on GPUs because that's what makes the most sense. No point in using like a jet engine to go across the street. If you're only going to go across the street, use a bike or just walk. And that's kind of like the workloads that aren't shifting anymore. If you want to continue to innovate, that's where you use that jet engine, right? That the one that you need to move at rapid levels. And as long as we keep innovating in AI, you're going to need that jet engine. If we're not in the robots yet. We're not even in AI agents just yet, right? So there's still so much stuff. Maybe we're there with certain chatbot solutions. Maybe we're there with certain text solutions. Maybe we're there with certain image solutions. So with those solutions, we just need to go down the block. We just need to walk to the store. Let's get ASICs for that. Now I free up my jet engine to do the most important task. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of these companies. But I think the market is going to see it how they're seeing it right now as a negative impact for both AMD and Nvidia. And with that rant, Neil, sorry, I need to go see the little one really quickly.
No problem. No problem. In the meantime, I'll tell you all that the 10-year yield is very close to 4%. It's at 4.05% right now. Let's see if it breaks under. Let's see if it breaks under 4%. Currently, pre-market Dow is up 0.17, S&P 0.23, and Nasdaq 0.4% at the moment. European markets were all green, are still green right now. Let's go back to look at some stocks here. So Nebius is still holding on, Yeah, that's also exactly what I heard. I think my guy went to Florida to get his jet. Someone asked me, maybe I'll touch on this really quick. So do you still think that Nebius is to me? Yes. To me, one, market cap wise, we're smaller. Second of all, I just like the leadership there. I like the fact that we're getting decades and decades of experience for basically half of what Yandex was worth. I like the fact that it is bare metal plus software. Some will say, oh, who needs the software side? If you can get an extra, I'll take it. I'll take it. Plus execution has been very, very well. It's basically the under promise, over deliver. That's what I like about Nebius. But as you know, I'm now also a CoreWeave investor, and I'm also holding shares of IREN. So I have all three because I do believe that, again, all three will see quite significant growth in the years ahead. Christian, we will talk about Adobe probably on Wednesday or maybe even Thursday, because Adobe does report on Thursday. So we'll have maybe a specific segment on that. PayPal versus Adyen. I mean, I don't like to compare them, although they do compete. So parts of their businesses do compete with each other. PayPal right now is, of course, a much slower grower than an Adyen. PayPal has a different business than Adyen. Adyen is a tremendous company. Okay, I think it's you can buy it in dollars, you can buy it in euros. I think in euros it's I don't remember if they split or not. No, it's 1,383 euros. It's a tremendous business. Very good company, very good execution, very good management. Growth wise, they're of course growing faster than PayPal. I just like PayPal because of because it's undervalued. Very simple. Because it's extremely undervalued. Yes, it's another one of those turnaround stories, but I do think it will work out just very well. But if you told me, oh, I bought Adyen and not PayPal, I'm not going to say you made a mistake. No, not at all. I think you bought a very good business in Adyen. Octo, the crypto thing from BMNR, is up 1,700% before. That's crazy. That is crazy. I don't know, man. The fact that you have Tom Lee, Dan Ives, and Sam Altman here all in the same thing is like, I don't know. I wrote on X, this is either going to be a 100x Michael Jordan of AI crypto, or it's a zero. It's one of the two. There is no middle. There is no middle point here. PayPal over 70. Well, I hope so, right? Because I mean, is that too much to ask to add an extra $2 to the stock price? Seems like it. Seems like it is too much to ask. Thanks, Adam. We are, of course, going to do the market open here as well. Do you like Shopify? I like Shopify, but like you said, it is it's expensive. It's an expensive stock, but it's a stock. It's a company that has been doing. Well, it's crazy. It was at 60, so $70. It doubled basically from the April lows. So Shopify is again great management, um, great execution, lots of tailwinds. They're doing exactly what they should be doing, but it is expensive. It is an expensive name to buy. If you hold it, then why would you sell? You can take some profits, but why would you sell such a good business? My opinion on gold, I have no opinion on gold. I have no opinion on gold. It's at all-time highs, I guess, for a reason, right? So, but yeah, I have no opinion on gold. I guess if you have gold, maybe cash in a little bit. But other than that, no opinion on that. Nebius CoreWeave IREN. Yes, that's the largest to smallest position. Nebius CoreWeave and IREN. Let's see what we have here. Applied Digital did also take a little hit more recently. Small pullback. Palantir. It seems like most high flyers peaked like mid August, and now we're experiencing a pullback, which is totally fine and healthy, I guess, because you don't want everything to be extremely stretched. Novo, yeah, did recover a little bit. We're now already a week, actually 2 weeks, above $50. Amazon has been doing well, trying to make its way back to all-time highs. Robinhood, of course, is now in the S&P 500, so congratulations to all shareholders. Pre-market at $110 at the moment. Marvell, lots of questions about Marvell. So Marvell dropped after earnings back to $63, but still higher from the April lows here. It's a tricky situation, I guess, with Marvell. Tricky situation, but if Jose does come back, I'll ask him again about Marvell. Uber has been holding up quite well. Maybe here this is a double top. Maybe. We'll see. New Holdings performing very well. Still a tremendously good company. Duolingo is still down pre-market because why not? Seems like a daily thing where Duolingo just goes down 3% each and every day. When will the bleeding stop? That's a very good question. It will be oversold if it does open down to $267. I still think it's a very good business. Just a hated stock at the moment. Intel is flat. BMNR we've seen is 42. Apple has been doing very well. IREN we've watched. Meta, yeah, literally everyone peaked mid-August. Everyone peaked mid-August. HIMS has been rebounding, like I said, like clockwork on that 200-day moving average. Was at 40. Now it's closer to 48, 49. SoFi still kicking ass. Very, very good momentum movement from the stock. Google, of course. Google, tremendous performance by Google and the business and the stock. All-time highs. Zeta also experienced a tiny pullback, but not by much. United Health did recover. Very nice there. Same with Oscar. We, of course, had some very good, better than feared news, I would say, from Oscar during an analyst conference. I'll make a specific video about that pretty soon. Plus also the possibility of subsidies being extended, which will only provide upside for both Oscar and United Healthcare because they both already gave us the worst case scenario. CoreWeave still here. As long as it holds these prices, I think we could form a nice bottom. Then maybe I'll add a little bit more there. Reddit has been performing also extremely well. Micron also, finally, we are going higher and higher as the market starts to realize that, actually, we're going to need a lot more HBM. I'll keep this open. We still have 2 minutes. Thoughts on Open Door? I mean, thoughts on Open Door, same as before. I will either be making quite a lot of small monies on it. I mean, well, it's at $7 pre-market. This is insane, which means I will be up 7x in just a month and a half. Can't complain. Can't complain. I mean, I can complain. I should have put the whole portfolio in Open Door.
That would be wild.
Would have been a multi-millionaire right now. But I mean, I would still take. I'm still taking those wins. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. There was a question. There were questions about Marvell for you.
Overall, Neil, I mean, I'm really excited about Marvell's potential. We saw from their AI event on June 20th that they have a lot of custom, not only ASIC solutions, but also what they call connected XPUs for multi years. Right now with Marvell and with this AI market is you are very dependent to how many customers you have. If you have less customers, your revenue fluctuates a lot because that one customer might need something this quarter, might not need something next quarter. And that's what Marvell kind of talked a little bit about, where one of their major customers is not going to see a lot of their orders until later this year. The great thing is they do talk about kind of diversification, and that's something Broadcom has really well. That Broadcom has a lot of customers. So if even one of them slows down, if one of them slows down and the other one's kind of riding up, you can still have that trend line. If you're only really dependent on one, it all depends on that. And I think that's what the market doesn't understand right now with Marvell. It's look, market cap right now, 60 billion, maybe 70. I think there's opportunity here. This is to me that opportunistic play that I like right now. I have my big winners, right? I have my Nvidia, I have my my Microsoft, my Google, that I know are going to win with this AI space. Now I'm building that puts those positions on the ones that are going to grow dramatically, or that have the potential. That's my CoreWeave. That's my Marvell, and that's where I kind of put them in. I believe they're big. These are big positions now. They're becoming big positions in my portfolio because what we're reading in the AI market, I feel comfortable with the opportunist choice of CoreWeave, of Marvell, and some of these other players. And Pedro, appreciate the super chat there. Here's to a strong fourth quarter 2025. AMD, Broadcom, agree. I think tech is going to continue to dominate the space.
I agree. Thank you, Pedro, for that. Ding, ding, ding. You forgot to say, because the markets
ding, ding.
Markets are open right now. And so let's have a look at the big winners first. More winners than losers today.
Oh, who'd enter the S&P, right?
Correct.
Is that the excitement here?
Yes, after 6,000 times of hearing who is going to enter the S&P, finally it's in. So we're done.
See, I told you I was right.
Yeah, exactly. So Hood is up 9.4, HIMS is up 3.7, Reddit 2.6, Palantir up 2.5, Uber up, let's call it 2%, now 1.8. Okay, jinxed it. Rocket Lab 1.3, BMNR up 1.6, United Health is up a little bit, Meta is up 1%, the local is up close to 1%, Oscar is up. Man, you should go back to Florida a lot more, because Oscar is back close to $20 right now. It's been on a small
it's
rally.
Been on the killing. Nice.
Yeah. Amazon up almost 1%, Nvidia 0.7, SoFi flat. As for the biggest losers, we do see AST. AST was down way more than this, so we do see some buying action, down 7%. And then the rest, not that many names are down much. And Novo Nordisk 1.3, Micron 1.2. Micron has been doing also very well. Duolingo is still down 1.5 because, like I said before, this name just keeps getting crushed. each and every day. Intel down 0.8, AMD down 0.7, Applied Digital 0.6, and then the rest, let's call it flat for now. Someone asked, what about AMD? We are long and bullish AMD, both of us. Unity. Unity is a name. You hold it, right? Because
Yeah, been holding this one. I
they've
think I'm
been
finally
also
on the
doing.
green on this one, so I'm happy.
Yeah, they've been one heck of a turnaround here.
Yeah. For me, Unity, now that I'm back on my active, is where I'm just selling calls. I don't care if it gets taken away from me. At the moment, haven't really. It seems like obviously there's the momentum with Roaring Kitty, but that's been there for a while. I don't think it's purely that. I think it's just their AI market advertisement solution has been picking up a little bit of steam here and there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Alibaba. Someone said Alibaba is freaking out. Nona K has been saying, oh, Alibaba is up 3.8. I did see something. I did see that there was a report that Chinese investors were buying heavily on the Hong Kong exchange. Plus the fact that their cloud business has been accelerating, actually, I think through 26% or so last quarter. So yeah, Alibaba, I still hold this one. I still think it's one of those very, very cheap names. But yes, of course, it's a Chinese name, so you will always get that little discount there. Duolingo, man, this is someone asks here, will Duolingo stop dropping one day? That is the question.
Yo,
That
Broadcom is
is
still killing it, up nearly 4% right now.
still.
That was, yeah, pretty good
Wow.
there.
Well, man, Broadcom has increased 150% since April. What is this? A $1.5 billion company now or
It should
something?
be around there.
1.6. That's insane. Man, we didn't even talk about this, but Google.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. How could we? It's just we knew it was coming. We set our piece.
Man, Google all-time highs.
Yeah.
Feels good. Feels very good. My phone is waking up again. But yeah, Google was finally. Yeah, AppLovin. I think AppLovin was always also included, I think, in the S&P. This one has also been on a
This one's been on a
recovery.
tear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive. Since like September we see of 2024.
Yeah,
About a year
but
ago.
the peak
Crazy.
here, I think this was maybe a short seller report or something
Oh
happened.
wow.
Maybe that was before. And then, yeah, it was $200 back in April, now at $545. Incredible. Incredible. I mean, what that is. If you bought it in 2023, you bought it at $9, Jose. It was would have been one hell of an investment.
All right, Neil. I don't think we have any earnings today, right? But we do have some
Today,
decent earnings this week.
Yeah, we have Oracle tomorrow after hours, so we'll probably cover that Wednesday and then do a little Adobe preview on Thursday as well. I do know that tomorrow there are, I think Synopsys is also reporting. I think Rubrik is
Synopsys,
reporting.
yeah.
Yeah. So we will have what things to cover on Wednesday for sure. Then tomorrow we can talk a bit more about specific AI names, also a little bit maybe more on Oracle if there is some news. How we feeling about the local for Vince here? Still extremely bullish on the company, and I thank the market for giving me the opportunity to buy even more last week. So last thing, the heat map before we log off, looking okay. It's looking okay. I think better than okay, I would say.
Yeah, I never look at the right side because I'm usually very. One that I've seen has pulled down a lot. That's in the right side, kind of ISRG, intuitive circle. Yeah, that's one I always mention. If it goes down, I wouldn't mind doing research just because of the AI aspects of the robotics market. Have you done any thoughts on this, Neil? Any videos I should watch from you that, or
No, not yet,
nothing?
but
Okay.
it is in the list of a video that's coming up, talking about
Yeah.
robotics and all of that. And yeah, so last week we did see this drop right here because I do think that they gave some commentary on the tariff impact and how that will impact them, and that's why we're seeing
Got it.
this drop. But it seems like the
Yeah.
drop has been bought up already.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good
But
company.
still very, yeah. Because I remember when I was looking, it was like in this 580, 600.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yeah. All right. That's a pretty interesting one.
Yep. With that, that's it. Jose is back. We are back. We will be back tomorrow morning as well. Markets
Yep.
are greenish. So have a wonderful start of the week, everyone. And we'll see each other tomorrow bright and early.